Hello, I'm Dr. Brian Gibson, and tonight I want to talk to you about the peripheral nerve and how it applies to peripheral neuropathy. So, what is a peripheral nerve? So, basically, the nervous system is made up of two parts. You have the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. The central nervous system includes the brain and the spinal cord, and basically includes this large amount of nerves, a large amount of neurons in that area. But that central nervous system then extends out to additional nerves that are outside the spinal cord, outside the brain, and these are the peripheral nerves. And with peripheral nerves, these are all the other nerves of the body that supply anywhere else that are not the spinal cord and that are not the brain. So that's a large group of nerves, and that group of nerves is also broken into two parts. You have the nerves that basically we control, that we actively control, called the somatic nervous system. And we have the autonomic nervous system, which are the automatic nerves, the nerves that function without our direct control type situation. So somatic nervous system, autonomic nervous system, and then with the somatic nervous system, that's going to include all the sensory nerves and all the motor nerves. So all the nerves that are telling the muscles what to do, that's the motor nerves, and all the nerves that are carrying information from everywhere else to let the brain and spinal cord know what are going on are the sensory nerves. They're actually receiving the sensations. And there are two types of sensory nerves. You'll notice a pattern here, right? Two parts of the nervous system, central nervous system, peripheral nervous system. Two parts of the peripheral nervous system. Well, technically, there's two parts of the central nervous system too, the brain and the spinal cord. There's two parts of the peripheral nervous system, which are the somatic nervous system and the autonomic nervous system. And then there's two parts of the somatic nervous system, which include sensory nerves and motor nerves. And then you go the next step of the sensory nerves, there are two types of sensory nerves. The large fiber sensory nerves and the small fiber sensory nerve. Large fiber sensory nerves basically supply the, I guess it's basically the large fiber sensory nerves are basically the longer nerves, the larger nerves, the ones that are usually have a myelin sheath to them, or a lining to them. So large fiber sensory nerves, small fiber sensory nerves, and then you've got the autonomic nerves and the motor nerves. So of all of these, that basically breaks down your peripheral neuropathy to four types of nerves: large fiber sensory nerves, small fiber sensory nerves, motor nerves, and autonomic nerves. And any one of these systems can malfunction. Any one of these systems can start to fail, and that will make up a peripheral neuropathy. So if you have failure of the small fiber sensory nerves, you have a small fiber sensory neuropathy. Large fiber sensory neuropathy, motor neuropathy, and autonomic neuropathy. So the next question is, what of these nervous systems can be affected with peripheral neuropathy? All four. Are they always all four affected? No. You could have just an autonomic neuropathy. You could have just a small fiber sensory neuropathy. You could have a small fiber and large fiber sensory neuropathy, and the motor nerves and the autonomic nerves are working normal, or any combination. So you can have all four, you can have one, or any combination of that. So if you have peripheral neuropathy, one of the first things you need to understand is what types of nerves are being affected in your body. Is it a large fiber sensory neuropathy, small fiber sensory neuropathy, motor neuropathy, or autonomic neuropathy, or all four? And in doing that, you'll get a large amount of information, a large ability to determine what type of peripheral neuropathy you have. So in doing that, before you could actually manage the symptoms, you need to understand where the symptoms are coming from, which at the very simplest sense is what types of nerves in the peripheral nervous system are being affected, so you can actually work on those. This is Dr. Brian Gibson, and this is your Neuropathy Nugget Day 212 peripheral nerves as part of peripheral neuropathy. Thank you and have a great rest of your night.